You see that wiggle on the top of your screen? We're having problems with our editor this week, and that's the reason we're going to show you an oldie but a goodie this week. This show originally aired January 18th, 1996. Hope you enjoy it again. Welcome to this week's Friends and Company. Boy, we've got a fun show for you this week. We went out to Sulphurwell Academy Road and visited a couple out there named Pat and Ann Overcast, and they whittle canes, so walking canes and walking sticks and stuff like that. So we're going to show you that, and they are really a couple of characters, I'm going to tell you. We're really looking forward to that part. Also, we talked to Clarence Clark about Martin Luther King. His birthday was Monday, and we talked a little bit about that. It's starting to rain, so we're going to go. Stay tuned for Friends and Companies right after this.
You ready?
911, what is your emergency?
My grandmother won't wake up. I don't know what to do.
Do you know your address? That's okay. We've got it. Stay calm. Help is on the way.
Okay.
Unit 47, need an ambulance at 1640 East 3rd Street. Adult female, possibly unconscious.
Operator, we'll have a unit en route. Thank you. Cougar Medicom Unit 117. We have a medical emergency. An unresponsive female patient, 1640 East 3rd Street. Please respond.
In the time it took you to watch this, 911 would have help on the way. In an emergency, precious seconds matter. 911 could save your life.
Hi, and welcome back to Friends and Company. Now we're here on Sulphurwell Academy Road, and we have a really fun segment for you this time. We're going to talk to Pat Overcast and his wife Ann, and they are whittlers. And did I say that right?
You did say that right.
You're not whittler.
It's we Whittler's Knob.
We Whittler's Knob is the
Everybody
name of your
says
place.
that I've got my name spelt wrong on my sign out there, but it's not Whittlers, it's Whittlers.
Okay. So I guess it's whatever
I
you
left
want it
the
to
H
be, huh?
out and went right on. Didn't have any problem with it. It catches a lot of attention.
Yeah. Well, you've really got a nice place here to do this. You whittle canes, right?
I make walking sticks, hiking canes, and I do it all by hand.
Ah. Now, what's the difference in a walking stick and a hiking cane?
Now, a hiking cane is a tall one.
Oh.
Like this. That's a hiking cane. This one here will be a walking stick when I get through with it.
Okay.
Now, I've got several inside, and when we go inside, I'll show you the difference when we get in there.
Okay.
This is a natural walking stick that the wife is working on there now. With a natural handle. Got one hanging right here.
Yeah.
We find them with a natural handle. They're a lot stronger and a lot better.
Well, that was going to be one of my questions there. Where do you find your wood? And do you go out and find it, or do you order it? Or
We go out in the woods just all over the county. And anywhere that people give us permission, a lot of West Vaco property we go on. And we find our own material. With the exceptions of, like I say, when we go inside, I'll show you the pine knots and stuff that we go up in East Tennessee and get.
Okay. All right. Well, is there any particular kind of wood that you like better?
Sourwood.
Sourwood.
Sourwood and poplar is better to work with than some of the others.
Okay. About retiring. Okay. Yeah, I was supposed to ask you about retiring. Okay. Yeah, see, I kind of clued him in on what we was going to talk about before we started. And then I didn't do it, did I?
No.
We was going to talk about what he did before now.
I can keep up with you, Mike, because I know where the other part is. It's down in her underwear.
You weren't
Mine's
supposed
right
to.
here.
You weren't supposed to tell that.
Yeah, I
work.
work.
Put it somewhere.
I worked with the forestry for 20.
Listen at this. You're just going right in from the Mike being in my underwear to
Yeah.
working at the forestry. What a
Yeah, I worked with the
transition.
forestry about 26 years, and I retired in May of '95. And then this is what we do now. It's just a hobby, and if anybody wants to buy one, we'll sell them one. But
Okay, but this is not really a business of yours. You
not
didn't really
any
set up to
business,
do
not
this
any
to make
business, no. It's not set up to make money.
money. Just something you enjoy
Just
doing.
something we enjoy doing, and if we can sell a few, pay for gas and our time, that's what we do.
Yeah.
But we enjoy doing it.
Yeah. Well, you've got a really nice building here, and your wife was telling me that you've had this, what, nearly a year?
Nearly a
something
year.
like
We built it in April of '95, and I retired in May.
that? Mm-hmm.
And we've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's really nice. A great place for you to do this. On warm days, you can sit out here on the porch and do this.
On
and
cold days, go in, build
got
a
your
fire.
wood stove in
The
there.
only thing about my building, we just don't have a bathroom, but we got a slop jar in case of emergencies.
Well, that's all you need.
Yeah, and but we do a lot of our work in there. She does all. I didn't tell you about her doing dolls. She does dolls
Oh, well, we'll have to go in and see the dolls a little
and
bit
jewelry, hand wrapped jewelry.
later. Hmm.
If this chew tobacco gets tangled up, then I can't talk good, you know. But when we go inside, we'll show all that. And but we've really enjoyed it.
Well, now, getting back to you said that you retired from the forestry service. Now, is
Yeah.
that where you got interested in the different
Got
kinds of wood?
interested in the different kinds of wood, out working in forestry and doing our work in the woods, and that's how I got interested in doing it.
So you started out with canes, or did you start out with something else?
I started out with just a straight stick and put a hickory thing on the top. And then we got into this other after I retired and just got started doing it. And then I got to carving them, and I'll show you my rattlesnakes and my copperheads and all that.
I can't wait to see them. But listen, show us what this is down here. You was telling me earlier about the way it's got the twist in it. Explain about that.
Now this is a vine grows around here, is what makes this knot, this in here. The tree growed that way.
So that was just a little...
The vine will always go to the left. It'll never go to the right. It always goes to the left. South of the equator, the vine will go to the right.
Well, isn't that something?
Because the water in your commode, when you flush it, it goes down clockwise. South of the equator, you flush it and it'll go down counterclockwise.
I wonder why that is. Do you know?
The gravitational pull of the earth and the
Well,
sun.
isn't that something?
And I found that out in the intelligent book up at the libraries where I found all that information.
Good plug for the library. Okay.
Yeah, I found that out up there.
So when you go and pick out your wood, the wood that you pick out, the little trees that you get today, you can't just come home and start whittling up
Oh,
right
no,
away.
it takes about 3 to 4 months for them to dry. You got to let them season
So
out.
what do? You put a little hook in them and hang them and let them dry,
I
or
just
what do you
stack
do?
them. I've got barrels inside, and I stack them in the barrels, and then I know where each one of them is, and when I
Do you
leave.
date them or anything so you kind of can
No,
remember?
I just know where they are. And then when they season out, then I take them out and start working. Now, when you
Yeah.
find one that's dead, now
Yeah.
that one's already dead. Now you can work it immediately.
Okay. You want to show us a little bit of how you do that?
Yeah, I'll be glad to show you.
Okay.
Now, first off,
Now, what is this called? You called this something a while ago. This
first off,
What's that called?
you
want to just sit down right down there?
I have to take this bark off. There's a
Okay.
bark on there. You can see all that bark down here. That comes off of it. Then I take my Dremel, and you see that sands it off.
Oh.
See how that works? And then you get all your color out of there like that. Then you do a lot of this outside. You don't want to get a lot of dust. You get a lot of dust from it.
Yeah.
And see your color in that? Then after I go over it with that, I've got some inside already done. See, and then I sandpaper. I go through 6 different sandings.
Oh, on each one?
On each one to get them good and smooth.
Okay.
And
that's if you're making just a plain one with not a lot of carving.
That's just a plain one. Just not a lot of carving. But like I say, when we go inside, I'll show you some of them others.
Okay. All right. Well, you about ready to go inside?
About ready to go inside. Look like it's gonna rain.
Yeah, we need to get on inside, I guess. But stay with us. We're going to go inside. We've got to take a break right now. We're going to go inside, and we're going to see some of the work that he's done. Some of those snakes. I can't wait to see the snakes.
Good.
Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Kid Umbach. You may know me as your local PGA golf professional. You know, advertising for your business is a lot like golf. You only get out of it what you put in it. But your aim can be better than mine by targeting your audience on CNN, ESPN, TNN, and TNT. So give me a call today, and we'll work on a swing that best suits your business.
Hi, welcome back to the show. Well, now we're inside the cabin here of Pat Overcast, and he's going to show us a little bit more that we talked about outside on the porch, and now we're going to see where he actually makes his walking sticks, right?
That'll be fine. Right here's where we'll start then. I have some here. Now this is what the sticks look like when we bring them in with the bark on them. All right. We sit down, we take all that bark off. Then this is what they look like after the bark is took off. And I put these in here and let them dry. You have to let them dry about 3 to 4 months before you can work them. And after these season out,
you just scrape the bark off is all you've done.
Right.
You haven't done the thing you were doing out on the porch a while ago, right?
No.
Okay. That comes
I've got the bark off. After these season out, then I take them and Dremel them.
Okay.
What I was doing outside a while ago when I take that Dremel and sand all this down. These are the ones that is ready. When it dries, I'll carve the faces in there. I'll show you the faces when I get over here.
So you have to really kind of plan ahead and know sort of what you're going to do with it.
You have to plan ahead, yes.
Okay.
And when these season out, and after I Dremel them, then I move them over to this barrel here.
Okay.
Now these have been Dremeled. You can see the difference in them. They've been Dremeled.
Yeah.
That's been sanded down with a small Dremel tool. And then, after they're Dremeled, the pine knots, then I take them over here and I drill them and start here, and I put about a 3-inch with a hardwood dowel with wood glue in there with split ends on them with wedges in them. And then that just becomes a piece of the stick. Then after I get all these worked up, then I sit down and start with these sticks. Then you hand sand them. You go through 6 different sandings with these.
Gosh.
You go from 120 grit to a 600 grit.
Woo! Real fine sandpaper.
Real fine sandpaper.
Well, this right here is where the vine was, right?
This is where the vine.
Do you have to dig the vine out, or does it fall out?
No, I have to take the vine out.
Oh.
Then after you get them sanded, and the ones that I'm not going to carve, after I get through sanding and they're sanded down, the ones that I don't carve, then they're ready to polyurethane. I use a high gloss exterior polyurethane on them. Then I move them to this barrel. Now here's one that's been sanded. This one I carved. That's going to be a timber rattler.
Ooh.
And see, there's no scales on that one. And this is the face that I carve.
Yeah, hold it real still so Don can get a good shot of it.
That's the face that I carve in them. They call them wizards. I call them wood boogers.
Now, where'd you get that name, man?
That's just one I come up with.
That's one of them Pat originals, huh?
That's Pat original. That's just a wood booger. But that's what the snake looks like when you get it all sanded down, and then I cut him out with a knife all the way around here. See, here's the rattlers.
Oh.
See, those are the rattlers. They're all cut out. All right, from there, then I've got some that's finished right here. That's the snakes.
Is there a reason why you have them hanging? Is that after you polyurethane them?
I just polyurethane them and I hang them up and let them dry. Now there's a finished one.
Ooh.
That's the timber rattler finished.
Oh, that is so pretty.
See, here's the rattlers, and there's the scales.
Mm-hmm.
Now everybody wants to know how I put the scales on there.
Yeah.
They're like handmade quilts. You do them one at a time.
One scale at a time.
I've got a little tool right here
Okay.
that I do that with. And you always start down here, and then you do them one at a time.
Good.
And it'll take you, this stick here take me approximately 3 weeks to complete it. It'd take me about 4 days to put the scales on it.
Gosh.
That one that I showed you right there,
Uh-huh.
it'll take me about 6 to 7 days to put the scales on
Yeah, that's a big snake there.
that. It'll take me 6 to 7 days.
Now, is that the same kind of snake that this is right here?
That'll,
Is this gonna be
yes,
the same?
this is a rattler. Now I do the rattler, and I do the copperhead and the green grass snake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you
Now,
got
right-
pretty green grass.
Right
snake.
here is another rattler. That one is a long one.
Oh.
Take me about 4 weeks to complete that one. So, you know,
Mm-hmm. That's pretty.
now that's a rattler. Here's the copperhead. Let me get that one hooked back. Now this is the copperhead. See, there's no rattlers on that. That's just a plain. See, and I do this with a burning tool,
Oh.
and then I come in and stain it, and put the scales on it.
Mm-hmm.
Now then,
Wow.
that is the copperhead. Now I'll show you the green grass snake. This one right here is the green grass snake. See the head on that? See, now the heads on them are different. You see the head is more oblong, egg-shaped. A rattler is more of a horseshoe shape, the head on a poison snake. See, this one's not poison.
Mm-hmm.
Now these are all finished sticks here.
So some of these are the plain ones that you were talking about.
These
now.
are the plain ones.
How come there are different colors? Do you stain them different colors?
No, they're all natural. The only stain that I use is when I stain the markings on the rattlesnake and the copperhead and the green garter snake.
Yeah.
These right here are all the same wood. They're sourwood, and you never know what color a sourwood's going to be. Now that's all natural. It's not been stained.
Wow. And it's completely different than the other
Completely
ones there.
different. Now right here's the same wood, still a sourwood, and see your difference in your color in it.
Is a lot of that in the way it dries, do you think, or is that just the way the wood
It's just the way it is.
Hmm.
Now those knots that I was telling you about, you see the finished product there?
Mm-hmm.
Right here is one before it's finished.
Gosh.
The
Okay,
difference.
now you was telling me earlier you have to go a long ways to get these. Where
We
do you
go
have
up
to
next to the North Carolina line,
Ah.
up in let me think about it. Blount County and Cock County, next to the North Carolina line, is where we get those.
These kind
They
of
grow
grow
at-
here? Or
They don't
what?
grow here.
Oh,
They grow at about 4,000 feet, and we go up and backpack those out.
goodness
Then
gracious.
that's what I use here.
Yeah.
That's the finished product right there.
Oh. Well, goodness gracious, you got a bunch of those. That ought to last you a pretty good little bit.
And your sourwoods will go all different colors
Now, sourwood, you find that around here, right?
around here.
I mean, what kind of tree is that?
It's just like a tree, just like an oak or a red oak or a poplar.
Oh, okay.
It don't grow everywhere.
Oh.
You don't find it over in Weakley County, but you'll find it over here around the river.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd never even heard of sourwood.
You've heard of sourwood honey.
Yes, I have. So,
That's
okay.
a sourwood is in the fall the leaves are real red. It's a real pretty tree.
Mm-hmm.
And after if you find one dead, now see these were all dead trees that I found, and that's where you get your color.
Yeah.
A live tree. Now this one right here is a sourwood.
Mm-hmm.
But you see the difference in your color in this one. This one wasn't dead. It was alive. and see your patterns in there.
Yeah. Boy, that'll be pretty when you
And
get
the
that
sap that comes out of a sourwood is clear, just like water. But if you get it on your clothes or on your hands, right here's what it'll do. See that right there?
Yeah, that can ruin your clothes.
It sure will. Now that wasn't her mic, that was me blowing my nose.
Oh! I knew you'd have to say something about where my mic is.
Now
We were talking about making funny sounds a while ago.
This is
what's this one?
This is a dead sourwood. And see all your red in it? See all your different colors in it?
Yeah.
And when you sand that down and put a knob on it and polyurethane it, then it brings the color out. That polyurethane brings the color out of it.
I noticed that one's got a little knot hole there in it. What is there anything you can do with a knot hole? Can
No.
you make something?
That
Can you
just-
carve in around that, or is that carvable?
Not, if it's big enough, I find some that if they've got a bigger one in it, I carve a little face in there.
Yeah.
Put a little face in there.
Yeah.
And I do the biggest part of all of my work, with the exceptions of my automatic and my drill and my Dremel. All the rest of it's done with those hand tools right here. See this is what I drilled. That's a 1/2-inch hole there.
Yeah.
This is a 1/4. Then these are draw knives that I use in drawing some of it down. These are Dremels. And I've got a burning tool that I also use. Now I also put doorknobs on some of my walking sticks if people request it.
Ooh, those are pretty.
Now that's an old porcelain doorknob right there. That's an antique. This is brass. Those are dated April the 23rd, 1901.
Gosh.
And I polyurethane that, and it never changes color.
Oh.
You don't have to shine it or anything. It stays just like that.
Well,
But I only put them
that's a
on.
good tip for your brass.
I only put those on if people request them. You can use different things. You can use. You can use. Let me get all this out. I'll just show you all of it.
All right.
All right. You can use those.
Yeah, pretty glass one.
You can use that one. See,
So
put them on.
that'll pretty much change the whole look of the whole thing, won't
The
it?
whole thing. You can use old brass horse hames
Oh.
for doorknob, for handles on them. And the white ones, you can use the white ones or the black ones. The black ones are real pretty on there. But I
The
don't
gear shift knob.
gear shift. I put these on there and I tell the people that that's a walking stick for a man that if he don't know where he's going and he gets stuck, he can always shift his way out. That's a gear shift knob.
Yeah.
You can use all different things to.
Well, did you learn this just by trial and error, or did you take any classes, or what? You just sort of figured it out?
Just figured it out and sat down and done it myself.
So each one of these, depending on how much carbon's involved in it, will take.
Well, I
about how long.
didn't tell you the real fact.
All right, what's the real fact here? Come to
Ann and I went about 3 or 4 months ago. We went up to East Tennessee and we taken a 3-day carving school on the techniques of different carvings and different things.
That was 3 weeks ago?
No, about 3 or 4 months ago.
3 or 4 months ago. But up until then, you'd been doing this.
But all they showed you was just the basic things of how to, cut the eyes out and how to. Here's a. If you want to really get fancy, this is how you start and make an eye.
Oh.
But this is for carving like in statues and not really in sticks.
Yeah.
When you get down to that fancy carving, people don't want to pay for it.
Yeah. Now you have lots of hours involved in this. How much do you get for one of these? If somebody came and said, well, I'd like to have one for a gift or something, what can they expect to pay for something like this?
Like those right there,
These hanging in the middle?
I'll get $25 for them.
Really?
And
As much time as you have involved
and
in
that's cheap.
Yeah, that's real cheap.
Now my snakes, they run a little more.
Mm-hmm.
When all my hand carved stuff runs
Yeah.
a little more.
Uh-huh.
But
You got a lot more
it's
time
it's just a hobby, you know. I don't try to push the trade. If they want to buy one, I'll sell them one. If they don't, all right.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't.
Well, is there anything else you want to talk about before we go to your wife?
No, I guess you might ought to go to her. She's going to be mad at me. I don't want that to happen because, you know how.
You got to live with her, so.
I've been with her about 35 years, and I don't reckon I'd trade her off.
Well, all right. And your wife's name is Ann.
Ann.
And Ann is also into a lot of creative things. She helps
does.
you with
She
this
does.
some too, doesn't
She helps with this. She does a lot of the sanding, and she goes with me out in the woods when we go hunting them. I use her for a pack mule.
Yeah.
We was out one day, and I told her, I said, we ought to buy us a donkey to pack these sticks out with. And I said, no, we'd have to feed him, build a barn for him. And I said, I've got you to pack them. So we went on down a little bit further, and I looked up in a tree, and I seen a big one up there, a nice one with a natural handle. I said, climb up there and cut that for me. And she said, donkeys don't climb trees, and just kept walking.
Oh, well, she got you, didn't she?
She got me. But she carves dolls and makes hand-wrapped jewelry, and we polish the rocks. We pick the rocks up down here in the gravel pits, and I got a tumbler, and I polish the rocks and cut them with a diamond saw, and then she takes them and makes jewelry out of them.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, stay tuned. We're going to talk to, not Pat.
Ann.
You're Pat. We're going to talk to Ann right after this. So stay with us.
You know, I laughed the night my husband suggested I take this with me. A telephone. I was just going out for ice cream, but on the way back home, my car just quit. A simple trip had left me stranded. Then I remembered I had the cellular phone. They sent a mechanic within minutes. What a relief. He fixed the problem, and I was back on my way. Of course, the ice cream melted, but thanks to this, I got home safe and sound.
You're safe with New Wave Cellular. Call 644-1111 today.
Special Moments Video Production Service at 208 North Brewer can now transfer your 8mm and Super 8 film, photos, and slides to video for easy viewing and sharing with friends and loved ones. Our office hours are 10 to 5 Monday through Friday and by appointment on Saturdays. Call Special Moments at 644-9303 for more information. At Budget TV and VCR Service, we have 2 full-time factory-trained technicians to service all brands of TVs and VCRs, as well as stereos, microwaves, and camcorders. We are your authorized warranty station for RCA, GE, and Zenith TVs, VCRs, and projection TVs. We have all of the latest testing equipment and stock a full line of TV and VCR replacement parts. That's Budget TV and VCR Service, open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday and 9 to 1 on Saturday, located at 130 East Washington Street in downtown Paris.
Hi, welcome back to the show. Well, we're still out here on Sulphurwell Academy Road, and we're talking to Pat's wife, Ann Overcast. Hi, thank you for being with us this week. And boy, we've had the best time talking to your husband. How in the world do you put up with him?
Take 2 aspirins first thing every morning.
I can see how you'd have to do that. Boy, I tell you what, he's a character, isn't he?
Yeah, that he is.
Tell us, you have an interesting hobby here, too. You help him with some of the canes or walking sticks that he has made. And also, you've started doing something with dolls. Tell us about that.
Well, I thought if he could whittle, I could, too. So the old saying goes, if you can't lick them, join them.
Yeah.
So I got to whittling dolls. And this is one that I started. This is the beginning of a head. And this will be an arm. It's done cut out and all ready to go. And this will be her leg and a boot.
Oh.
And then when I get through, she'll look like this right over here.
So do you, with a saw, you cut out like the general shape of it, and then you whittle it from there? Okay.
Then you just take the details, like make the fingers. And then on here, you'll take and carve and make the boot top, and then her leg, and then up here, and I put them together like they did China dolls with cloth bodies.
Yeah.
And then I make human hair wigs for the dolls.
Oh.
And I take and buy old wigs and cut them and make my own little doll wigs.
Oh. Oh,
So that way
neat.
you can have a human hair wig on your doll.
Yeah. Oh, this is so neat. And you paint the faces and everything.
She won't win no beauty contest or anything, but she is hand carved.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Carve her little nose and everything.
See, there's her boots. She's got her boots.
Well, how cute.
And of course, no young lady goes out without her long-handled drawers on, so she's got her drawers, right.
And she's got the individual fingers. You've even got her fingernails painted
Well,
there.
of course. She's ready to go.
Ready to go. Do you name your dolls?
Well, we try to.
What's her name?
Well, I forgot Pat named her, and it was some Indian name, and I can't remember. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, she looks like an Annabelle to me.
Well, that would work. Now this.
Wianka. He's saying Wianka over here.
Now this is the other style. Now she's not carved.
Okay.
But these
kind of favors Dolly Parton on the hair a little bit.
Well, yeah.
Chest doesn't quite reflect that, but.
But this one is it's just made straightly out of a piece of wood shaped in a face, and then I painted her eyes and on there, and she's got fingers, and as you can tell, I've improved on her hands after taking that whittling class that Pat was talking about.
Yeah.
But this one is made, and we named those from the kind of wood they're made out of. I call these Mother Nature's dolls. And this one is called Pawpaw Pollyanna. She's made out of a pawpaw tree.
Oh, well, good idea.
And she's got her
little bitty feet. Yeah. Little knothole there. It looks like she's got a mole on her leg.
Oh, yeah, she's original, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And gosh, you're doing something else over here.
Well, got to get them over there somewhere.
We're getting cues from the director over here. Thank you, Pat. Okay, show us this. Gosh, these are so pretty.
Well, now these are rocks that we gather from here.
These are just ordinary rocks that you find out.
Out of our creeks and our gravel pits here. It's quartz, quartzite, and agate is what you find most. And, of course, these are pretty here. They've already been tumbled and polished. We have 2 tumblers. One holds 4 pounds and one holds 6 pounds. It takes 42 days to get them completely finished.
42 days. Now, can you mix them up, put all different types of rocks in the tumbler at the same time?
Now, some things you can't. Now, these you can, but when you go to like turquoise and things like that, they're soft, and you can't put those in with a heavier rock like this. It would just chip them all to pieces. And then so I can make earrings. Pat takes, and he'll slice this rock completely in half, and that gives me a matching pair of earrings to wire wrap.
Yeah. Okay, wire wrap. Now, we've been hearing a lot about wire wrap jewelry here lately. Show us a little bit.
Well, now this is one. This is using the rock again that Pat sliced for me. And I've taken the wire, and I've wrapped it and made different designs on it.
Oh. Is that real hard to do?
No. It took me a while to learn. I wasted a lot of wire till I got the hang of it. And I see this is a bracelet made out of a rock.
That's pretty.
And it's got the little rosettes fixed on it. And then here's one that I've used semi-precious stone on. This is lapis here.
Yeah, and you were telling me earlier that you order a lot of your stones here. You have got all different kinds. Tell us about that.
See, this is garnet.
Ooh,
the red
pretty.
bead is garnet. And this is crystal. And this is rose quartz. And these 2 crystals were brought over from Rome in World War II, and they were given to me to use in my wire wrapping.
Oh.
And I'm very stingy with those. I don't use them too often because I don't have very many of them. And then I make, of course, earrings to match them. So this has got your garnet right in here.
That's pretty pretty. You make clip earrings too?
I've got the things to make them, but I've never made any because I sell more of the purest earrings.
Yeah.
And now this is one that I've made into a necklace. And see, I've wire wrapped the rock.
Oh, that's really pretty. Yeah, that's really pretty. These earrings are really unusual. How long does it take for you to make something like a pair of earrings like this?
One like this takes me about an hour.
Oh, well, that's not
too
bad.
So it's not too long, you know.
No, I figured it would take a lot longer than that.
Of course, you use your wire, and I have to twist it and all of that and to get these little designs in your wire.
Mm-hmm. Well, how do you twist your wire? It's so little. I mean, how do you get the little twisties in there?
This right here is and I take 3 wires and put them together, and I've got a little pin vise.
Is this the wire here?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that looks thicker than that.
That is the thick one. See, there's more than one size.
Okay.
This is your little thin one.
You take 3 of those.
And I put them together, put them in my little pin vise. Then I tighten this down, and then I just turn the pin vise, and as you turn it, it twists the wire together in this little shape like that right there.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's really pretty. And you've got rings. Oh, these are so pretty.
See, now, these right here, this is a sunstone is what it's called, is the glitter in that rock.
Yeah? Is that something you found around here?
No. This, Pat and I were out west and found it and brought it back. Now, these were found here. See the coloration in this? You never know what you're going to get. But look at all the different blends in that one rock.
Yeah. How about these? Are these from here?
Those are from here. That's quartzite. Now, this is bloodstone. Pat and I found that. I believe we was in Arkansas when I picked that up at the diamond mine. Didn't find any diamonds, but I got a bloodstone.
So y'all take a lot of trips, and on your trips you walk around and look for wood and rocks.
It's a wonder we haven't broke our neck. One's looking up and the other one's looking down, so you know. But it's just something that we enjoy doing. It's a hobby.
Yeah. These are really, really pretty. Yeah, I can tell that you've put a lot of time into this. Love these rocks. Love these rocks. You've got a lot of rocks to work with here. Now, is this one that's been cut, or is that natural?
That one's been cut.
Gosh. Now, do you polish them before you cut them, or after you cut them?
Now, this particular one was polished after I cut it. But we have found out that it's better to cut it after I've polished it. Then it lets this back have the pores in it, and when I cement it to the back of the earring of that, it holds better than it does on a slick surface.
Yeah, and who's looking at the back of your earrings anyway?
Well, you can't really tell the difference. It's after you cut into the rock, you can see the color is the same.
Yeah.
But it holds a lot better, and the wire, of course, is wrapped around behind it, so it covers it all up.
Okay. All right. Well, gosh, this is real exciting, and you've got something here that looks kind of a Western flair here. Now, how about these little accessory things like this? Do you order those?
I order those. They're called findings. And I order those and just add to them. And like these are ordered right here where you put your put your beads on them.
Well, how do you, I mean, I'm sure they're not just sitting here on this table for nothing. I guess you probably take them out. You've got them on nice little display cards and stuff. What do? Do you sell them at, like, flea markets and stuff, or what?
Well, now again,
just if somebody
I just make them. If somebody wants them, they're here. It's a hobby.
Yeah, okay.
And of course,
and our director over here is
he's giving me
whispering directions.
We're at Paris Landing the first weekend in every month.
Oh, okay.
Then they try to show local artists, and our weekend is first weekend of the month, and I do show my jewelry there,
and that
as well as the sticks.
What, at Paris Landing Inn?
Starts back up in February.
Okay, that's first weekend every month starting in February.
The way we understand.
Okay, all right. So folks can come on down and find you down there, or at least find your stuff.
And if they want to come down and see us, we just love to talk, so they can come on.
You want to give them directions to your place out here?
Well, when you ask a woman to give you directions, you usually get them lost, but I'll try. Go out 79 Highway North, going toward the river. And we're about 7 miles out on Suffer Wells Academy Road. Turn right, and we're the third house on the left.
Got a big, nice sign out front.
Says, "We Whittler's Knob."
Yeah.
And they can just come on out and see us anytime.
Come out and sit on the porch with you.
Right, and if they come at the right time, I might even cook a little for them.
Hey, that sounds like a good deal. Okay, well, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for coming.
We've really enjoyed the visit here today. And we'd like to come back and visit with you again sometime. How about that?
You just come right on and I'll fix us up some soul food right over here on the stove.
Okay.
Turnip greens and cornbread and that kind of stuff.
And you cook it right here on
right on that little wood stove.
Boy, I'm telling you, it's like going back in the past out here. And by the way, I think Pat's probably got a story he's going to tell a little bit later on. So don't go away, because he'll be back to tell you the story about his cabin and what exciting thing took place here.
You are watching Friends and Company on Paris Cablevision, local channel 3.
The Tri-County Talking Community Bulletin Board. It's free, and all you need is a touch-tone phone. In Henry County, dial 644-0638. Hear the time and temperature and press the 3-digit number for the announcement you want to hear. There's many announcements such as weather, school events, movie and concert calendars, daily horoscopes, Kentucky lottery numbers, and TV listings, plus many, many more. Call 644-0638. Remember, it's free, and all you need is a touch-tone phone. It's open 24 hours a day. That number again is 644-0638.
Okay, I got one other thing that I want to tell you folks about that happened here at Wee Whittler's Knob. Me and Anna sitting out here one day whittling, and we seen this car come by real slow, and there was 2 couples in it, an old couple and a young couple. They went by real slow and had Kentucky tags on it, and all of a sudden they put their brakes on and they backed up. Got out and walked up here and introduced herself, and he said his name was Dan Spann, and I said, yeah, and I'm Ronald Reagan too. I thought he was kidding, you know. Come to find out they're serious. He said, we're wanting to get married, and said we're looking for the preacher down here at Friendship Baptist Church. I said, I ain't no need to look for him. Just come on up here and get on the porch, and I can perform that ceremony for you. I still thought they was kidding, but they wasn't. So we got in there and got on the phone, tried to find the preacher, and couldn't find him, and him and this girl got talking. They said, why don't we just get married here? Said, do you know anybody that'd marry us? And I said, well, of course I do. So I went in there and got on the phone, and I called up the courthouse and asked him if Jerry Bomer is in. Said, yeah. I said, let me talk to him. I said, Jerry, you won't believe it, but I said, there's a couple out of Paducah, Kentucky out here that's wanting to get married. Would you come out here and marry them? He said, I sure will. Said, I'll be there in about 10 minutes. Old Jerry pulled up out there and got out, and me and Ann done the singing, and that other couple was their witness, and we didn't have no rice to throw on them. I just throwed these whittlings that I got down here. When they come off the porch, I chucked a few whittlings on them instead of their rice. And so they got married, and the old boys, they lived down in Paducah, and he told us that we run a restaurant down there, and done told me the name of it, but I don't remember it, but I can find it. And he said, if y'all ever come down there, he said, the meals are free. So me and Ann gonna take him up on that. And that's all of my story today. And so I've enjoyed y'all coming out here and doing this, and so I hope y'all have enjoyed it too. Thank you very much.
You say you saw a wild woman in the woods?
Her world had everything she needed.
She doesn't need anybody.
Their world had nothing she wanted.
Once word gets out, we might as well start selling tickets.
When 2 worlds collide, can she survive? Natasha Richardson, Liam Neeson, and Jodie Foster in a brilliant one-of-a-kind performance as Nell. Premieres Saturday, January 27th, exclusively on HBO.
Hi, welcome back to Friends and Company. You know, Monday was Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. He would have been 67 years old, and he is the most famous spokesperson for the advancement of black people. He was originally from Atlanta, Georgia. He was the son of a clergyman, and he later became a pastor himself. He held a PhD in theology from Boston University, and he was the leader of a 381-day boycott that brought an end to segregated seating on buses in Montgomery, Alabama. and that was probably his first major contribution in the way of getting things moving as far as civil rights. He received a Nobel Peace Prize. He was the youngest recipient of that at age of 35. So he has a lot, there's a lot about Dr. Martin Luther King that a lot of people in general, especially white people, may not really know. I'm not sure that they're teaching all of these things in schools today, and we thought that we would have a little segment on our show about it. And a lot of his nonviolent resistance tactics that he had, he adopted from Mohandas K. Gandhi. And we have someone here with us today who has actually met Gandhi and can tell us a little bit about that. And he is very involved in civil rights also. He is Commissioner Clarence Clark. He is the Vice Chairman of West Tennessee area, the State of Tennessee Human Rights Commission. And thank you, Mr. Clark, for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And I understand that you've got a story to tell us about your meeting with Gandhi. Can you tell us a little bit about when this happened and what the circumstances was?
Yes, I can. I went in the service at the age of 18, and I was sent to the subcontinent of India. We landed at Bombay. We went by train to Calcutta, and I was really impressed and in awe of this huge metropolitan area with millions of people. As you know, India has one of the largest populations in the world. People living and dying on the street. So I was very interested in seeing something about this huge country, the history of the country. I've read about India, and I wanted to see it. So I wandered on down one of the streets in Calcutta, and there was an English bookstore. As you know, India was under the denomination of England, the British Empire. Mm-hmm. I wandered into this bookstore, and as I looked on the shelf, I noticed there was a book by Booker T. Washington.
Which probably up until the time of Martin Luther King was the most well-known black person.
And
advocate.
I immediately grabbed this book and looked at this book and opened the book, and there was a voice from behind me said, I bet I know more about Booker T. Washington and George Washington than you do. I know about Dred Scott and Nat Turner. I know about Walter White of the NAACP. And I went around this beautiful Hindu girl there. Mm-hmm. And then she said, you over here fighting for freedom, and your country has two armies, one black and white. We're fighting the British. We're not free. We need to join together. You need to come to some of our meetings, and you need to meet our leaders, Gandhi and Nehru. Mm-hmm. So I met her family. I went to one of the meetings. I went to what you might say the river where they would baptize people. That's what we would call it. Mm-hmm. And this is when I got to see Gandhi and I got to see Nehru. And I want to say this, that I guess, didn't know it then, but I guess that Dr. Martin Luther King and I have something in common, because basically that's where in the later years in reading, that's where he spent some time in India with Gandhi, and he learned the technique, the philosophy of passive resistance and nonviolence. Mm-hmm,
mm-hmm. And so after your visit there, you were actually really very young. You were only 18.
18 years old. Mm-hmm. And I remember, later on, I remember in India going back, coming home. I mean, I learned some of the language, and I remember reading something about Kipling when he said, when Rudyard Kipling said, some of the people when you leave, they would sing a song, "Come you back to Mandalay, where the flying fishes play. Oh, you American soldiers, you must come back across the bay." Mm-hmm. So I remember this, and as I said before, I think I can understand when Dr. King started his passive resistance, that I can understand that. But I was involved in it from the beginning, because I came back home with the idea that there's something wrong with our country. I'm going to stay in my community, and I'm going to fight to do away with the concept of separate and equal.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember when Martin Luther King staged the boycott?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. The Montgomery boycott, and this was the beginning of the freedom movement. Dr. King was elected head this movement, the Montgomery movement, not because he wanted to, but because they wanted a young leader that would do the, he had no idea that it would develop into something like this. So he was selected. And of course, we all know the story of Rosa Parks, where, you know, they wanted her to move from the to the back of the bus. And all of us have been exposed to this thing. And so this was the beginning of the boycott. And of course, also Dr. King spent some time in jail, and that's why he wrote this famous letter from the Birmingham jail.
Yeah, he was jailed several times, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. The thing that really impressed me when he wrote his book, Strive Towards Freedom, there were some things in his book which he said that had an impression on lots of people. And before I said it, I might add this, that this boy, that what he was doing, not only did he free a lot of black people, but he freed a lot of white people too. This was not for only black, this was white, because if you look at it historically, the white was in slavery too with their ideology, their philosophy. So he opened up a lot of eyes, but he wrote in his book, and I remember this, he said, there's an element of God in every man. He says that no matter how low one sinks into racial bigotry, that individual can be redeemed. He also said in his book, Strive Towards Freedom, he said, the strong man is the man who will stand up for his rights and not fight back. This is the basic philosophy of nonviolence. You must go, you must stand up, but you must not retaliate. It takes a strong person to do this. I know a lot of people, so-called activists, didn't agree with his philosophy, but it proved out that this is the right way to go, and this is what he did. I met him once at the NAACP convention in Denver, Colorado. I heard him make a speech. That was the last time I saw him. And I was tremendously impressed. That was during the time that Roy Wilkins was the executive director of the NAACP. And I think Dr. King inspired of all. NAACP, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, all worked together in doing this. So I think that we should be proud and we should celebrate Martin Luther King, what he did to free this nation. The work has been done, but we're on the road to doing something, and I think people in the community, we have some problems in our community, and it's a different problem. We have drug addiction in our community, we have teenage pregnancy, we have teenage violence. These are some of the things that we must attack, because in my generation, we had a strong community base. We don't have it like we have it then. That if you see somebody doing something wrong in my community, they would tell your parents, you got two whippings. You got one there. You got a whipping in school, you got one when you got home.
Right.
So we got to get back to some basic things that Dr. Martin Luther King was talking about.
Right, I agree. Now, tell us about your meeting with him.
I didn't exactly meet with Dr. King, but I saw him make a speech. And I didn't exactly meet with him, but I did hear him make a speech. And I was really impressed with his speech. I wish I had the opportunity. Now, I didn't meet after he was there. I did meet his widow, Coretta Scott King. I spent some time at the Center for Nonviolent Change in Atlanta.
Yeah, tell us about that.
And there were people from all over the world. And the day I was there, she was there. There were kids from all over the world. And she held a workshop for the kids. And I was there. The auditorium was crowded, but I heard her. She relates very good with kids. And I just wished everybody would go there and spend some time at this center. I also wish they would also go to Memphis, which I spent a year before last. I was there to see the museum where he was killed. And the day I was there in Memphis, there were busloads of white kids there from all over Tennessee, white and black kids going through this museum. It's something that you can never forget if you do that, if you was to go.
Now, he was only 39 years old when he was assassinated.
That is true. He was only 39 when he was assassinated.
And what was he in Memphis for?
Yes, I do. The boycott, the strike, he was asked to come to Memphis because the garbage collectors would not give him a fair deal in Memphis. They were trying to negotiate with him in Memphis, so he was asked to come to Memphis to help the strike by the predominantly black garbage collectors in Memphis, and that's why he was done. And so we're not going to talk about the conspiracy, but he was shot on the balcony, and there were some people who was with him. Jesse Jackson, he was right there. Rav Abernathy was there. I have met him and talked to him. In fact, Rav Abernathy was a speaker at one of the UT at Martin at one time. And I met him, and I've seen him, and he was his right-hand man. We lost a great leader, but you can kill a man, but you can't kill a dream. So the dream still lives, and I think America is better for this, that he lived like he did and did what he did. And I am proud to be a part of this movement, of the civil rights movement. I feel like that I can understand, and I feel like that I must carry it on, must share this legacy with some of our other young kids, black and white, so that they can make this country a better place in which to live. We have the greatest country in the world, but we do have some problems, but we can solve our problems. Getting back to India, you know, Gandhi had problems over there with the untouchables, which is a farm. There were people who were born, they couldn't get out if their parents, their relatives were carried water or to street sweeper. That's what they had to do. They were discriminated against, and so he fought against this concept in the untouchable. And of course, we had segregation, as you know, in this country. You know, we had to follow separate, but it never was equal. So this is what we are fighting against, not only for black Americans, but for all people, Hispanics, all the people, that we live in a country that we must make it for everybody who can compete, who can progress. People who are qualified must be able to give the opportunity to compete in a global market, in a competitive society. This is the way I remember Dr. Martin Luther King. He had a profound impact on my life, the things that I'm doing today.
And I think he probably touched a lot of lives, and a lot of people probably followed in his footsteps, as you have. And you are, as I said earlier, the commissioner and the vice chairman of West Tennessee, State of Tennessee Human Rights Commission.
Yes.
You want to tell us a little bit about your job?
The Human Rights Commission is a state agency that was enacted by the state legislature, which is responsible for enforcement of any discrimination law that comes before individual in business, industry, or in the private sector. I might add this, that all kind of people call me for help, white, black, young, old, all kind of people. Right now we have been...
So your job encompasses not only discrimination of black people, but
everybody,
women or handicapped or
handicapped.
anything.
One of the biggest things, one of the biggest problems we have now is sexual harassment, and I have a lot of people call me for that, and any type of discrimination that exists. We have been charged with another mandate now. That comes under Title VII. We have been given the responsibility to enforce Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. That act means that we will be monitoring and enforcing and investigating all state government agencies, the 21 state agencies, and those cities and towns that get federal, state, and local funds. We'll be responsible to see that, and also in contractors and so forth like that. So we have a big responsibility. We have three regions. We have the main office in Nashville. My territory is Memphis, West Tennessee. The regional office in Memphis is in Memphis.
So you cover all of West Tennessee?
All West Tennessee, from Shelby County on back, all West Tennessee. We have an office in Middle Tennessee, have one in East Tennessee also. There are three grand divisions in Tennessee, and each division has a human rights regional director. So this is what we're doing. I came up through the civil rights movement, and this is what I like to do. I'm very proud that basically that I can do this. And I'm also, of course, I'm a retired TVA supervisor with 38 years serving with TVA, and I have my own consulting business. I do consulting work for business and industry in this vicinity.
Okay. Well, you're just a well-rounded person, aren't you? You just into a lot of stuff.
I'm in a lot of stuff. That's right. That's right.
Okay. Well,
and in closing, I'd like to say that he don't want us to lose the dream. We shall overcome. I'm very proud of my nation, of my country. I'm proud of the people that lives in this country. And with some of the adverse things that have happened, we can overcome them, and I believe that we will.
Well, thank you for being with us this week.
Okay, thank you.
You stay tuned. We have more Friends and Company right after this.
We're New Wave Cellular, your local cellular phone company who pioneers cellular service in Henry County. We offer a complete line of phones and accessories to accommodate your business or personal needs. Let our professional sales staff come to your home or business to discuss phones and service packages designed for business persons or personal business. New Wave Cellular is the one cellular phone company you need. We're located at 1047 Mineral Wells Avenue, and our phone number is 644-1111.